Lily was only 8 years old, but her eyes often looked older. While other kids at school laughed and played in groups, Lily sat alone during lunch. She ate her sandwich quietly and watched the others from a distance. Her clothes were always clean, but not new. Her shoes were a little worn, and her backpack had one broken zipper. But Lily didn't complain. She never did. Her birthday was coming in a few days. Most children were excited about birthdays, cake, balloons, presents, and friends. But Lily wasn't. She didn't have many friends. Actually, she had none. Every morning, Lily stood by the window, not to wait for the school bus, but to wave at someone special. A garbage truck came by her street at the same time every day, and the man driving it, Mr. Reggie, always waved back. He was a tall black man with a kind face. His uniform was old and dusty from work, but his smile was warm and bright. He always honked twice just for Lily, and Lily always smiled and waved with both hands. Her mother, Sarah, noticed this little moment every morning. One day she asked, "Why do you like him so much, sweetie?" Lily replied, "Because he sees me. He always smiles." Sarah's heart broke a little. She had seen how the kids at school treated Lily, how they ignored her, how some even laughed at her clothes or quiet voice. That evening, Lily sat at the kitchen table with crayons and colored paper. She was making something carefully. Her small fingers moved slowly. After 30 minutes, she smiled. "I made a birthday card," she said proudly. "For who?" her mom asked. "For Mr. Reggie. I want to invite him to my birthday party." Sarah paused. She didn't know what to say. It was sweet, but also unusual. She looked at the card. It had a big heart in the middle and said in neat writing, "Dear Mr. Reggie, you are my friend. Please come to my birthday. There will be cake. Love, Lily." The next morning, Lily stood outside holding the card. When the garbage truck stopped, she ran toward it. "Wait," she shouted. Mr. Reggie stepped down slowly. "Well, hello, Miss Lily. What's this?" She handed him the card. "It's for you. Please come to my party. You're my only friend." Mr. Reggie froze. He looked at the little card, then at Lily. For a second, he couldn't speak. Then he smiled softly. "Thank you, Lily. That means a lot." Some kids on the street saw this and started laughing. "Look, she's inviting the garbage man," one shouted. "He probably smells like trash." Another joked. Even one of the neighbors, an older lady with sharp eyes, muttered, "Why invite someone like him?" Lily heard it all. Her face turned red, but she didn't cry. She just looked up at Mr. Reggie and said, "They don't understand, but I still want you to come." Mr. Reggie gave her a big nod. "You're a special girl, Lily. I'll be there." After he left, Lily went to school. She told her teacher and classmates that she invited someone to her birthday. When they asked who, she told them about Mr. Reggie. The room went silent. Then one of the popular girls laughed. "You invited a garbage man. You." Even the teacher looked uncomfortable. She tried to smile and said, "Well, that's sweet, but maybe you should invite someone your age." Lily looked down at her desk. She didn't say anything more. That night, Mr. Reggie sat in his small apartment. He placed the card on his table and stared at it. His hands were rough from years of work, but they shook a little as he held the paper. No one had ever called him a friend like that. Not in years. He looked at an old photo on his shelf. It was of a boy, about Lily's age. His son, gone too soon, lost in an accident years ago. Mr. Reggie wiped a tear from his eye. Then he picked up his phone. "It's time," he said to someone on the other end. "I need your help. I have somewhere important to be." The voice on the phone laughed. "You finally going to show them who you are?" Mr. Reggie smiled. "Yes, and I'm going to make sure this little girl has the best birthday ever." The sun rose slowly over the quiet neighborhood. People opened curtains, walked their dogs, or sipped their morning coffee. But there was one thing that made this morning different. Everyone was talking about Lily. "Did you hear what that little girl did?" a woman said to her friend on the phone. "She invited the garbage man to her birthday," another whispered at the bakery. "Why would anyone do that?" a man asked at the gas station. "Isn't that just strange?" Lily didn't know people were talking. She was too busy getting ready. Her mom helped her put up pink balloons in the small backyard. A few paper streamers danced in the wind. There were 2 chairs, a folding table with a homemade cake, and 3 paper plates. "Are you sure he'll come?" Sarah asked gently. Lily smiled. "He promised." Sarah nodded but looked worried. What if he didn't come? What if Lily got her hopes up too high? At that moment, something unusual happened. A sleek black car slowly drove into the neighborhood. It wasn't the kind of car people saw often. It looked expensive, shiny, and had tinted windows. It stopped right in front of Lily's house. Neighbors peeked out from their windows. "Who is that?" "That's not from around here." "Is someone rich visiting?" Then the driver stepped out. He was dressed in a black suit with sunglasses. He walked around the car, opened the back door, and out stepped Mr. Rady. But this Mr. Rady didn't look like the man who drove the garbage truck every morning. He wore a sharp gray blazer, clean white shirt, and polished shoes. His beard was neatly trimmed, and he stood tall, proud, strong, and confident. People across the street stared in silence. "That's the garbage man." "No way. He looks like a CEO or something." Mr. Rady smiled as he walked toward Lily's door, holding a large box wrapped in gold paper. Lily opened the door and gasped. "Mr. Rady, you look, wow." He chuckled. "You said I was your only friend. I had to show up right." Sarah stood frozen. "You didn't have to do all this." "But I wanted to," he said kindly. "This little girl reminded me of something I forgot a long time ago. Kindness." Lily clapped her hands in joy. "Come in, come in. I saved a seat for you." Mr. Rady sat down at the small plastic table. He didn't care that the chair was wobbly or that the cake wasn't from a bakery. He looked around like he was at a royal event. "I brought something special," he said, handing Lily the gold box. She opened it slowly. Inside was the most beautiful doll she had ever seen. It had brown skin like hers, curly hair, and a bright purple dress. Lily hugged it tightly. "She looks like me." Mr. Rady smiled. "Exactly." Just then, the back gate creaked open. One of Lily's classmates walked in. It was the same girl who laughed at her at school. Her mom stood behind her, looking embarrassed. "Hi, Lily," the girl said quietly. "Can I join your party?" Lily was surprised. You want to come?" The girl nodded. "I saw the video." Lily blinked. "What video?" Her classmate pulled out a phone. "Someone recorded you giving Mr. Rady the card. It's all over the internet. My mom said it was the sweetest thing she ever saw." Sarah grabbed her phone and checked. It was true. Little girl invites garbage man to her party. What happens next will warm your heart. It had over 500,000 views. Mr. Rady chuckled. "Well, I guess the world sees now what I already knew. That Lily is special." More kids started showing up. Parents too. Some brought cupcakes. Others brought presents. A neighbor who once called Mr. Rady just a garbage man walked over with a plate of cookies. "Mr. Rady, I'm sorry. I misjudged you." Mr. Rady nodded. "It happens." That small backyard filled with people. Laughter, music, and joy filled the air. Lily's eyes sparkled. For the first time ever, she wasn't alone. And across the street, someone whispered, "I never knew the garbage man could be so powerful." Another replied, "He wasn't just a garbage man. He was a lesson. And that little girl taught us all something." By the next morning, Lily's small birthday party had become the biggest news in the neighborhood and beyond. The video of her handing a birthday card to Mr. Rady was now being shared by thousands of people online. It was on Facebook, Twitter, and even on big news websites. The comments were filled with surprise, love, and questions. Who is this girl? Why did she invite her garbage man? This made me cry. We need more kids like Lily. At school, everything changed. Kids who never spoke to Lily before were now smiling at her in the hallway. Teachers gave her extra kind looks. Even the principal stopped her in the hallway and said, "You made the school proud, Lily." But Lily didn't feel proud. She was just happy Mr. Reggie came. In her heart, she still remembered what it felt like to be ignored, to sit alone during lunch, to hear whispers behind her back about her old shoes or funny hair. So she asked her mom, "Why do people care now?" Just because they saw a video. Her mom knelt down and touched her cheek. "Sometimes, baby, the world needs a little light to wake up. You were that light." Meanwhile, Mr. Reggie's life also began to change. Everywhere he went, people waved or stopped him to talk. A woman in a suit came to him while he was working and said, "Mr. Reggie, we'd love for you to speak at our school about kindness." A man in a restaurant paid for his lunch and said, "You're more than just a worker. You're a hero." But all of this made Mr. Reggie feel confused. Why now? He asked his friend, who worked at the same waste company. "Because they finally saw you," his friend said. Because one little girl reminded them that kindness has no uniform. The garbage company's owner even called him in. "Reggie," he said, "we're making you supervisor. You've always worked hard, but now everyone knows who you are." Mr. Reggie smiled. "I didn't do anything special." The boss shook his head. "You showed up to a little girl's party. That means everything." But the story didn't stop there. 3 days later, a famous news reporter arrived in the neighborhood. She wanted to meet Lily and Mr. Reggie in person. They sat together on the front steps of Lily's house. The reporter asked, "Lily, why did you invite Mr. Reggie to your party?" Lily answered, "Because he always smiled at me when no one else did." The reporter turned to Mr. Reggie. "What did that invitation mean to you?" Mr. Reggie looked down for a moment, then said, "I've worked this job for 20 years. People never looked me in the eye. They never said my name. But that little girl made me feel human." The video of the interview went viral again. Millions of people watched it. Celebrities shared it. Even the mayor sent a message saying, "Lily and Mr. Reggie reminded us of what truly matters." At school, things kept changing. The same kids who once laughed at Lily's hair now asked how she styled it. A boy who used to tease her asked if they could sit together at lunch. Lily still felt shy, but her smile was growing. Then came the biggest surprise. One evening, a shiny black van stopped in front of Lily's house. Out came a woman in heels and a cameraman behind her. She was from a major talk show. "We'd like to fly you and Mr. Reggie to our show in New York," she said, "to share your story." Sarah looked shocked. "Us? Fly to New York?" Lily clapped. "Mr. Reggie, we're going on a plane." Mr. Reggie chuckled but looked nervous. "I've never been on a plane before." But he looked at Lily's hopeful eyes and nodded. "Let's go." And just like that, two unlikely people, a quiet little girl and her neighborhood's garbage man, were about to show the entire world what kindness, love, and respect really looked like. But what happened on that talk show would shake even more people to their core. The plane ride to New York was like a dream for Lily and Mr. Reggie. Lily sat by the window, pressing her nose against the glass. Her eyes sparkled as the clouds floated below them. Mr. Reggie, sitting beside her, gripped the armrest tightly. It was his first time flying. "You okay?" Lily asked with a giggle. He nodded with a small smile. "Just holding on tight, sugar." When they landed, a black car was waiting to take them to a fancy hotel. People treated them like stars. Bellboys opened the doors. The hotel manager welcomed them with warm smiles. They were given a big room with shiny floors, soft beds, and a view of the city. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. She stood by the window, looking at all the lights. Her mother came and wrapped her arms around her. "I'm nervous," Lily whispered. Her mom kissed her head. "Just be yourself. That's what made the world fall in love with you." The next morning, they were taken to the talk show studio. It was huge, bright, and busy. People with headsets rushed around. Makeup artists fixed Mr. Reggie's collar. They gave Lily a pretty yellow dress to wear. Her hair was styled with soft curls. When the show began, the host, a famous woman with millions of followers, walked out to loud applause. "Today," she said, "we have a story that melted hearts across the world. A story of a simple act that reminded us of the power of kindness." She introduced Lily and Mr. Reggie, and the audience clapped loudly as they walked on stage. Lily held Mr. Reggie's hand tight. The host asked them questions, just like the other reporter had. Lily spoke quietly but clearly. She said she invited Mr. Reggie because he was always kind, even when no one else was. Then the host turned to Mr. Reggie. "What did that card mean to you?" she asked. Mr. Reggie's eyes were shiny, full of emotion. "I never had anyone invite me to anything," he said, "not even when I was young. That little girl saw me. She didn't see a garbage man. She saw a person, and I'll never forget that." The audience stood and clapped. But then the host smiled and said, "We have one more surprise." The lights dimmed. A large screen behind them lit up, showing photos of Mr. Reggie working through the years, in the rain, in the snow, picking up trash while people ignored him. Then came a video of other garbage men and women saying how they felt invisible too. One said, "People look down on us, but we cleaned their streets." Another said, "Reggie gave us hope. He reminded us that we matter." Mr. Reggie's hands trembled. Then the host said, "Because of your kindness and your years of hard work, we have something for you." A curtain opened on the stage, and behind it was a big check. $100,000. Mr. Reggie gasped, and the host continued, "A full scholarship for Lily, so she can study anything she wants in the future." Lily's mouth dropped open. Her mom covered her face, crying. Mr. Reggie stood frozen. He tried to speak, but only tears came. Finally, he said, "No one has ever done anything like this for me." The host walked over and hugged him. "You did something for all of us, Reggie," she said. "You reminded us to see the people we usually ignore." The audience cheered, but the biggest surprise came after the show. A man in a sharp suit came up to Mr. Reggie backstage. He was the head of a large waste management company. "I saw your story," he said. "I want you to work with us. As a community leader, you'll visit schools, speak to young people, and help us train others to treat workers with respect." Mr. Reggie blinked. "Me? Yes, you?" The man smiled. "The world needs more Reggies." And just like that, the garbage man who was once invisible became a symbol of hope. The plane landed back in their small town on a cloudy afternoon, but even the gray sky couldn't hide the brightness waiting at the airport. Lily looked out the window and gasped, "Mr. Reggie, look." Hundreds of people were gathered outside the airport, kids holding signs, parents waving, city workers in uniforms, teachers, garbage collectors, even the mayor. Mr. Reggie froze in his seat. What's going on?" The flight attendant smiled. "They're here for you." As they stepped off the plane, cheers filled the air. Lily's mom wiped her tears. The crowd clapped and shouted Mr. Reggie's name. A group of sanitation workers stood in front, each wearing a bright orange vest with bold letters on the back. "We see you, Reggie." The mayor walked up to him and handed him a small box. Inside was a gold pin shaped like a trash can. "This is the city's new symbol of honor," the mayor said. "We're naming it the Reggie Award. Every year, we'll give it to someone who shows heart, kindness, and strength, just like you." Mr. Reggie's hands trembled as he held the pin. He had no words, only tears. Then someone handed him a microphone. He looked at the crowd, at all the smiling faces, then down at Lily, who squeezed his hand. "I was just doing my job," he said, voice soft but clear. "I picked up trash. But this little girl, she picked me up." The crowd went quiet. "People say kids don't notice things," he continued. "But this one noticed me. And her kindness changed everything. Don't ever think your small act doesn't matter. Because sometimes it's the small things that wake up the whole world." The crowd exploded in applause. Lily stepped forward, holding something behind her back. It was her birthday card, the same one she had given him. But now there was something added to it, a drawing. It showed Mr. Reggie standing tall, wearing a cape with stars around him. Above it, in Lily's handwriting, were the words, "My real-life hero." Mr. Reggie held it close to his chest. "I don't need a cape," he whispered, "because this is everything." The news covered it. Social media exploded again. But this time, the world didn't just see a story. They saw a message. Kindness sees what the world ignores. From that day on, people in town smiled at every garbage collector. Kids waved when the trucks passed. People left thank you notes taped to bins. Lily went back to school, but she was different now. More confident, more loved. And Mr. Reggie, he became a local speaker, a mentor, and the face of a campaign called Invisible No More. He still visited Lily every Sunday. Sometimes they baked cookies. Sometimes they just talked. But every time he left, he would say the same thing. "Thank you for seeing me, Lily." And every time she would smile and reply, "Always, Mr. Reggie."